Hey, it's Chuck Carstensen, another live video. I was gonna do a live show for one of our listings today, but the owners couldn't quite get their, belongings moved around and out today, so they needed a little more time. So no live show for me from home today, but if you're just tuning into our Facebook page, Stacy was up on a new duplex listing we have in Malacca, 88.9, so that's super low price. So check out that video and that listing. Otherwise, I thought I would talk about a subject. I'm in my car too, as you can see. I'm buckled in for safety in case somebody comes around the corner and rear ends me. I was going to talk about a topic that I just been thinking about a lot lately: why agents should provide feedback on a home. So if you've bought a home before or went on showings, when we show house, if I'm helping you as a buyer and I'm showing you a house, afterwards we get a form normally that says provide feedback. And for whatever reason lately, I always provide feedback, but lately on our listings, the other agents, it's like pulling teeth to get feedback. I would say it's 50% of the time we get feedback. It used to be 75%. It's summer, it's busy, we've got kids where we don't know where they're at least we do. We have 4 kids and they're all over, and maybe you're showing extra homes or whatever you're doing. But it's, I think, very, very important that an agent, if you're an agent watching or a buyer working with an agent, to provide feedback. Like, right away makes sense, especially if you don't like the house, just to let them know, hey, this isn't going to work for us. Okay, sellers are wondering, they want to know. Think if you were a seller, you would want to know why to provide feedback. So reason number one simply is why you'd provide feedback. If you were in the seller's shoes, you want to have that feedback to know what's going on. So it's a little bit of karma. Do it so someday when you're a seller, then you get the feedback back. And number two, and maybe more importantly, a lot of times people want to know, like, is my price right? What's going on? Are people going to buy it? The more detailed part of the feedback. So if you are an agent and you got somebody who's maybe going to make an offer, you may not instantly give that feedback. And if you're a buyer, you may not instantly want your agent to give the feedback, hey, we're making an offer. However, there are cases where you do want to provide that feedback, because a lot of times, you don't know this, there's an offer on that house that maybe the agent didn't tell you about because it's not perfect, but we want you to show the house as the agent of the buyer, and maybe when we get your feedback, we'll decide to either move forward with this offer or wow, these people just gave us feedback. They really like our house. Maybe these people will make an offer. Anyway, that's another reason to give the feedback, because a buyer could literally lose out on the house because you did not give the feedback that you're interested, and the agent, the seller, just say, hey, we got this offer on the table. It's close, not perfect, but let's go with it. So that'd be why you want to give feedback very close. If your agent's already followed close after the showing, if your agent's already followed up with the listing agent and you're working with the buyer's agent and there's no offers, you may not offer up the feedback right away, because you might write an offer, you're checking on some things. We don't want to get them too excited. We don't want to we want to play that poker hand. We don't want to show them we're too happy about it, but we want to make an offer and try to work on things. So there are reasons to delay the feedback, but if you don't like it, I'd say give the feedback. So that brings me to point number 3, because it's very helpful, like tying into point number 1, very helpful for the sellers, very helpful for the agents. Every once in a while, whether it's the agent, normally I think it's the sellers, they think, hey, my house is worth this much, so list it at this price. Or maybe the agent doesn't know how to do the market analysis and says, hey, what do you want to list it at? And they list it too high. I don't do a ton of showings now. Michelle and Stacy do more of the buyer showings. Every once in a while, I end up showing some houses. I was out showing properties yesterday, and a couple of them I showed, I gave a little more detailed feedback. Not great detail. One of the agent called me like, hey, you said it's too high. You said a couple things about it. Can you provide more information? And me, as helping the buyer, knowing that I'm talking to an agent and my buyer wasn't interested in the house, I went in detail, like saying, well, if I was pricing the home, it was like $172,900, I would price it at $154,900. Like, I'd literally tell your seller that's what Chuck said. Now you might say, well, who cares what Chuck says? Well, I do a lot of business in the area. I've been doing it a long time. That may not help, but it's better coming from me maybe than coming from the agent who has it listed. Hey, this Chuck guy said it's worth less. And then it's me telling the seller indirectly that it's worthless. And And that's helpful. They might not want to drop the price, but that helps the seller. And I think if you're a seller, you want to know that, because that's maybe why people aren't looking at the property. I had another one I gave feedback that was too high, and then I got an email back from the agent, thanks for your feedback, and we dropped the price, $5,000, and they're doing a couple of the things you said to do in the house. So I like to do that as like good karma, like, okay, if I provide feedback, hopefully agents provide feedback, so that just helps the sellers, it helps the agents. It's going to help the buyers sometimes, because you're looking at houses, oh, that's too high, I don't want to offer. Well, they might actually come down to your level. So sometimes the feedback helps make that house be a little more presentable for you to even consider an offer. So that's a lot of reasons for giving feedback. There's tons more. I don't want to have a huge, long-winded video today. Just I'm out and about quickly in between appointments. Since I'm not doing the live a little bit later at this other house, I wanted to go live on this topic because I've literally got about 10 agents to call that showed our listings in the last 2 or 3 days that haven't provided feedback. I don't think their phone broke. I don't think their emails don't work, and I do think some of them can't handle whatever the work they're getting, and I get it, but I also don't get it. Like, if you're an agent, provide the feedback, unless like there's some situation where it just makes sense to hold off because you are in the works on an offer on a property that you don't think has an offer. That's really the only time not to provide the feedback. So any questions on these kind of videos, you're always welcome to post them below. We'll share these on YouTube later, and hopefully it'll be a little bit of a tutorial to help people buy and sell homes when we do some of these videos that are just explaining the process a little bit more. Have a blessed day.